All right, you're gonna want to save this. How I became a millionaire in my 20s. So make sure you save this, make sure you like it, and make sure you follow for more of these videos. My name is Amena here, and I made a multi-million-dollar company at the age of 27, selling it for millions of dollars. So this is essentially a how-to guide at any age on how I got there. And I didn't only do it once, I did it twice. And right now I'm working on doing it again. So this is the formula exactly that I'm going to be giving you here for free. This masterclass of how to essentially become a multi-millionaire in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, and way beyond. And essentially it's a 10-year formula. Okay, this is not an overnight, like get rich quick type of thing. You're going to lead at least 10 years. Okay, so if you're a little bit older, you could still do this. You can start in your 80s. You can even start in your 90s, because, you know, essentially what I'm going to give you here is a formula that your family can essentially take over and run for years to come and grow it into their multi-million-dollar business. So get a pen and paper, save this, and let's start. So first and foremost, I want to say that this isn't a guarantee formula. I can't guarantee that you're going to put the work in, that you're going to pick the right industry, that the timing is going to be the right. If circumstances just don't allow it, or whatever it might be for you, that it's going to happen. Okay, so this is not a guarantee on success or you actually becoming a multimillionaire, but this is just my formula on what I have used that has helped me become a multimillionaire in my 20s, in my 30s, and beyond. All right. I want to dispel another thing before I get started, is the fact is just because you're a multimillionaire doesn't mean you have lots of cash. Liquid cash is totally different. You can, work for a company and have lots of liquid cash, because, next week you're going to have another paycheck. When you're a multimillionaire, it's going to vary drastically. You're going to have to keep reinvesting in not only your education, but also taking risk and putting money back in the foundation of your business. Hiring people and firing people, giving them, more income, actually paying for their mistakes. There's a lot of things that has to do with the responsibility of becoming a multimillionaire. And it's just really a way of living and looking at life differently. Okay, so just because you're a multimillionaire doesn't mean you're going to be able to retire, that you're going to have lots of money to do whatever you want. It's just a different lifestyle. Okay, but essentially for me, it's a lifestyle I chose and I keep choosing every single day. And that's essentially where it starts. You have to choose this lifestyle every single day and be willing to put in the work and live that vision. And you never live it for yourself. Let me put that first and foremost in here too. When you become in that mindset of becoming a multimillionaire, everything you do is essentially for others. You are working for your employees to make sure that they have a paycheck. You're working for your family to make sure that they have a house and security. You're working for your clients to make sure they're getting the things that they paid for, and they're happy with the service, and they're happy with the things that they've purchased from you. When you're working for yourself, you're working for your future investors and their time, effort, energy, and money. So you're always working for somebody else, even if you own the company, even if it's 100% yours. You're always working for something else. So you have to get in that mindset first and foremost. All right. So how to become a multimillionaire any time. You have to have a clear vision on the fact that you are capable of getting there. Okay. You are capable of success. You are capable of becoming a multimillionaire. Okay. You cannot have any doubt in your mind that says otherwise. Other than that, being mindset, you have to pick the industry that actually is shown to produce multimillionaires, or at least the industry can pay you enough that, despite the fact that you might not become a multimillionaire in that industry, you're going to make enough in that industry that's going to make you feel like a multimillionaire. So for me, it was a photography company I started that ended up becoming much bigger on a global scale, and became a wedding directory online, and using technology to get there. So with that said, that catapulted me into the reach I needed to actually have something substantial. Okay. So make sure that you're picking an industry that has money in it, that people are paying money to actually get that service. So weddings was a big one. It still is a huge industry. You have to stand out. You have to be different in the industry. That could be 3, okay? We'll go into that in a little bit. So you have to pick an industry that's growing or that has sustained growth over years, over decades. So weddings have always been that high ROI, they say, return on investment. You know, you invest in becoming a wedding photographer, you know, it's a huge investment up front, but you know, your ROI is greater because the amount of weddings that happen every year is a lot, and the amount of money that people put into their weddings is a lot. And so, you know, with that said, I knew that was something that I could enter in at a young age. Was it difficult? Heck yeah. Especially before digital cameras? Heck yeah. Was it super expensive? Yeah. It took out lots of credit cards that I didn't have the money back then. I worked any job I could to pay for those. So, you know, it's not going to be easy, and you have to realize this is not an easy path. So if you were looking for something easy, go find somebody to hire you that's going to pay you a good wage and live a perfectly happy life that way. If you have to have weekends off or certain days off, then this is not the life for you. It doesn't mean you can't essentially build your own work hours or have the lifestyle that you want. You can have that, but there's limitations and there's expectations with any business that you build. What is the next thing? So what did I say? So I said, okay, essentially the next thing would be, let's see, the actual industry. Oh, and your differentiator. How are you different than the other people that are in that industry? Well, first and foremost, when I started my photography company, I was just 19, and there wasn't a lot of 19-year-olds that was doing professional wedding photography. So my differentiator on every time we went to a client meeting was, yes, I am young. I know I'm young, but I'm not inexperienced. I started photography when I was 14, and I was in school for it. I was actually actively in college for photography. So I talked about that. I talked about the school I was going to. I talked about my credentials. I talked about the things that I was learning and the things that I do. We had a portfolio of weddings. Now at the time, here's a cheat code. Like, I don't want to say to do this or not do this. Use it at your own discretion. We actually used a family member's wedding photography photos to show as our portfolio because we didn't essentially have anybody in our circle that got married. So we couldn't get our own wedding photos, but we wanted to show the client something. Now, was my photography skills a lot better than what we showed? Heck yeah. But I couldn't just show like my projects from my college because it wasn't essentially wedding photography, which is what they were buying. So with that said, you know, that was my differentiator, the fact that, yes, I'm young, but I'm excited. I'm willing to go above and beyond to work for the client and their needs and wants. And that translated into the global directory and what we were doing online at the time. The things that we were building in our online system that didn't yet exist in the online space. So you're going to have to find a differentiator for your own company that you're building. It could be AI. It could be automation. It could be a strong community. Whatever it is, put it first and foremost and put your time, effort, and energy in strengthening that and building that out. Okay, another thing that helped me become a multi-millionaire is the fact that even though there's always going to be difficult times in growing your business, you're going to pivot, and you're going to pivot as soon as you can without creating more financial responsibilities. So you're going to downsize the things that aren't working, and you're going to ramp up the things that are, and you have to look at your reports for this. Always use number over emotions. And essentially, that's the way you're going to grow. Always use the numbers that you see, the traffic, the amount of money that's coming in from all the areas of your business, and double down on the ones that are working. Do not become emotional in your business decisions. And I'm going to leave it like that. If you want to learn more about me, my name is Amena, my story, and learn about my own life and how I became a multimillionaire and all the things that I like talking about here on my channel, then make sure you hit that follow button, and I will see you on another upcoming video. Thanks for watching.